This is An Economy of One with Gary Rathbun.
Joining me now is Tom Gresham. He's a host of Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, a nationally syndicated radio show about guns, the shooting sports, and personal protection. Airs right here on this station as well. He also hosts Gun Talk Television and Guns and Gear TV. He's edited national magazines and authored several books, including Weatherby, The Man, The Gun, The Legend. Tom, welcome to An Economy of One.
Well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I've talked to you before. I actually met you at the NRA show last year. You were in the Glock booth, I believe, and we got to meet face to face. Tonight, my special co-host is Dr. Brian Anse Patrick, professor at University of Toledo and an acquaintance of yours, I believe. He's been on your show before.
I've been on the show, and I've seen you at national events. How are you doing, Tom?
I am well, thank you.
Yeah, and I'm fully aware that at these gun events you are a social butterfly. I see you everywhere.
Well, you know what it is. It's just I have a short attention span. I'm going, oh look, another gun. Oh look, cool, another gun.
I understand.
You know, and at the National Gun Show, what do they got? Like 5 acres of guns there or something, man.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's just everywhere. You couldn't possibly see them all.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I had a few of them on my show. I don't know if you go around and interview them for your show or not, but one company, I forget the name of the company, and I should know. It's like a 3-generation company out of Connecticut. FedEx or somebody lost their whole shipment. Their whole shipment. They were in a booth with nothing there, you know. And
what a nightmare!
Oh, it was incredible. I felt so sorry for them. I put them on the show and we talked about their gun company and stuff. But,
I'll tell you what they look like.
Yeah,
that's right. If I had one, you could see that it looks like this.
Yeah, I mean, you know, because I got to believe those booths cost something. You know, something significant.
They're expensive. Yeah, they're expensive. And then, of course, I'm sure they were still paying the shipping costs, even though they didn't end up with their product.
Yeah, and then, you know, they probably showed up 2 days after the show was over, and they had to ship them home again. But
you're right. You get to pay it both ways.
Yeah. Anyway, I appreciate you spending a little time with us, and we're going to talk to your buddy Alan Gottlieb after the top of the hour tonight. So we got kind of a Second Amendment night going here. I did want to ask you, I mean, you're probably the most knowledgeable person on Second Amendment, personal protection, guns, that kind of stuff. I was talking to Brian off air a little bit. I wanted to get your opinion because I think it's a little bit of propaganda, but what's your thought with Justice Scalia passing away and the future of Second Amendment and given what the presidential candidates are saying, what's your thoughts? Is Second Amendment going to be destroyed under Scalia passing away?
Only if a Democrat gets elected to the White House. But if a Democrat gets elected to the White House, and I know that people scratch their heads and wonder why I say this, but here's my statement. The Second Amendment is gone.
Really?
Yes, it's gone. Because, and people say, well, no, we'll always have the Second Amendment. It's in the Constitution. It's just words on a piece of paper if what we think it means isn't what the courts say it means. And so what you have is look, Hillary Clinton, at every single speech she makes right now, she says, the Supreme Court got it wrong on the Second Amendment. And what she's talking about, of course, is the Heller decision, where the Supreme Court said there is an individual right to own a gun in this country. Hillary Clinton says there is no individual right to own a gun in this country. And if the court rules that way, there is no individual right to own a gun. And it really is as simple as that. So for me, this election, I don't care if Elmer Fudd runs.
He is running.
I will hold my nose. He is running. That's right. Just pick one. But I'll hold my nose. You know, I have my Tom Gresham voting kit. You have a clothespin for your nose and a big drink of alcohol with your favorite color that you like, and you choke that down and you pull the lever. But if if a Democrat is elected, he or she will appoint Supreme Court justices, probably 3 of them,
Right.
and will probably affect our laws in our country for 40 years with that. And there is no coming back. If you have 20 to 40 years of consistently eroding, i.e. destroying the Second Amendment, there is no coming back from that.
Now, I kind of went into that question a little tongue-in-cheek, and it got sober real quick. I guess part of it is hard for me to believe from the practicality of confiscating 300-400 million guns.
I never said confiscate.
Okay. Well,
that's not what we're talking about. People say, "Oh, they can't confiscate." That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the erosion of the right, where all of a sudden, no, you don't actually have a right to own a gun. If you want to buy a gun, you're going to have to show good cause.
Right.
And if the police department says, "Nah, that's really not a good enough reason," you don't get to buy a gun, and that's perfectly legal under Hillary Clinton's view of what it should be. So it's not that they're going to go knock on doors and kick in doors and take guns away.
Okay.
It happens more slowly and much more in a sinister fashion than that. Now it's a 10-day waiting period. Well, 10 days is good. How about 30 days? Okay, cool. Well, how about it's a 30-day waiting period, but there's actually no requirement that they ever respond to it.
Uh-huh. Now,
so you apply, but you never get a response back on your application. That's the way it happens.
Now, does the concept fall under the same category of not being able to sell the guns you have or even pass them on to your heirs?
Absolutely. So what happens is they lock it down. That's what the whole so-called universal background check is all about. It's about preventing you from being able to sell or give your guns to your children or to anyone else who's legally allowed to own them without the government's permission. And people need to understand that's what this is about, is saying you have to make the FBI a part of every gift, every sale, so we now have total control. And if we say, the FBI is not going to process any more of these. Well, now no guns change hands. Not legally, anyway.
Right. That makes us one generation away from nobody having any guns, then.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton stands there and says, we should take a look at the Australian model.
Right.
Well, when she says that, for those who don't know, Australia, what they did is they simply said, you can't own a semi-automatic firearm and you can't own a pump-action shotgun. And you now have 30 days or 60 days to turn it in. Period. And that's it.
Yeah.
And that is what Hillary Clinton holds up as a shining beacon of what the United States should do. So she is, not my words, I'm not making this stuff up.
Right.
She's the one who's saying we should confiscate guns.
Now, recently, I saw an article from guntalk.com that you had talked about as far as gun control being a real loser issue for the Democrats. And I think you penned that in February or something of this year.
Right.
Does that, I mean, I don't want to oversimplify it, but does that attitude that Hillary has, Bernie has on gun control, is that the tipping point of them not being able to be elected, or have we as a society, do they have enough support, enough people agreeing with them that will not keep them out of the White House alone?
I don't know that it's enough. In fact, we talked about this on the show last Sunday, and one thing I'm finding is there's a whole new generation of gun owners. We call them gun owner 2.0. And you go into these very upscale shooting ranges, and young couples are having date night at the shooting range, and they're having their anniversary at the shooting range, and they're taking their families to the shooting range. But, and this is the big but, they might vote gun rights if the person they're voting for doesn't conflict with them on the other things they believe. And they believe in gay rights, They believe in a lot of things that the traditional hardcore conservative Republican candidate will not support, and they're not going to give up those for a gun vote.
So it's a priority on social issues then, almost.
Right. So while a lot of the older Americans, if you will, demographics shift a little bit, might say, yeah, I'll vote my gun rights, and I'm going to vote strictly on the gun issue, there are a ton of new gun owners that are not there yet. They may get there. But, we've had millions and millions and millions of new people buying guns over the last 5 to 10 years.
Right.
They're new to it. They're not inculcated in the culture of freedom and gun ownership. And so and that is really the $64,000 question. Will they vote their gun rights, or will they split that out and say, yeah, I understand, but I'm not going to vote against these other things that I believe?
Right. I've noticed what Tom has remarked on, that what I call these people are ideological gun owners or the new gun owners. And I notice they become knowledgeable. They seek out knowledge on the Second Amendment. They develop a sense of identity. But it's a slow process. And a lot of them have, for example, like professional women seem to identify with Hillary. Just because they own a gun doesn't mean they're going to vote pro-gun.
Right.
Exactly. That's my point exactly. Now, they may eventually come around to that if they continue to shoot, to become part of the gun culture and understand that, anybody who says, I want to take away your gun also is willing and capable of taking away any rights you have.
Right.
This is a person who does not respect you as a person, doesn't respect your very life. Because that, for a great many people, where I work, in my office, 3 days ago, a mile down the street at a gas station, we just had a guy who had to kill a man because this crazy guy jumped him and tried to kill him. And unfortunately, the good guy there actually came to the help of the clerk. And that this crazy guy, if the good guy had not had a gun, there's no telling what this crazy guy would have done. So it's really, really not overstating it to say that when Hillary Clinton says she wants to take away the guns, what she's saying is, I want to take away your ability to protect your children and yourself and your family.
It's very sobering, and because I always thought a major part of their gun control would be not so much the guns as much as the ammunition. And we've seen several communities, Baltimore a few years ago tried to tax bullets, $1 a bullet. Chicago is tried to tax ammunition. Most recently, the lieutenant governor out in California, this Gavin Newsom, he had a brilliant statement, and to quote him, it says, "It seems to me the most dangerous part of the weapon is not the weapon itself, it's the ammunition." And I could make a similarly stupid statement is, it's not the ammunition, it's the velocity of the ammunition, But, is that phase 2? Is that plan B to control the ammunition as well?
It's all part of the overall plan, which is, and I finally got one of the gun ban guys from the Violence Policy Center to admit it when he was on my show. I said, look, imagine you have a magic wand, you can do anything. I mean, you guys are a gun control group. He says, yeah, but we're not really. And I said, well, yeah, you are. If you had your choice, if you could do anything you want, you had the magic wand, what would you do about guns?
Yeah.
And he stopped and he said, well, I'd get rid of all of them. I said, all of them? What about the police? He said, well, once we get rid of all the guns, the police aren't going to need theirs either. So if you want to know when they're looking down the road, that's what they see. They see absolutely not a single person owning a firearm in America, and they think that would be a wonderful idea. And of course, we also have another word for that. We call it anarchy, where only the physically large and crazy people get to tell you what to do because you have absolutely no way to persuade them to stop trying to rape you or hurt you.
Right. Well, and we've seen gun control in New York City. I just saw a headline today somewhere, I forget where, more and more stabbings in New York, and people are nervous now about knives. And then it'll be baseball bats and sticks and everything else. We've been talking with Tom Gresham, host of nationally syndicated show on radio, Gun Talk, as well as Guns and Gear TV and Gun Talk TV. Tom, once again, I really appreciate your time. I wish we had you for a couple hours. I know Brian's got more questions. I got more questions. I hope we can tap you on the shoulder again soon and chat with you again.
Absolutely. Anytime, guys.
I appreciate it, Tom.
Nice talking to you.
I'm Gary Rathbun with Brian Patrick. It's an Economy of One.